Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody is doing well and ready for the weekend. We are having absolutely perfect weather here. Next 4, 5, 6 days are going to be 60s, maybe low 70s during the day, and in the 40s at night. So, yeah, I'm always really excited when summer goes away and we start getting some cooler temperatures. Anyhow, today I just had some miscellaneous things, like not one subject, but I had a number of miscellaneous ones that weren't long enough for a video, so I decided I'd just roll them all together and just ramble for a while. So today we're talking about raw food diet recipes, details, and exceptions. And we're also going to talk about how the holidays are coming. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, like I said, I was working on some different ideas yesterday and the day before for an end of the week video, and yeah, just nothing was really sinking, and I'm like, nah, I can't really do a whole video about this, can't really do a whole video about that, so I just kind of rolled a few topics together. The raw food diet recipes. I don't know. Like, I get a lot of questions about recipes. I see a lot of things about recipes, and sometimes I think there's this obsession with recipes. And I'm not by any means anti-recipe. I encourage people to find recipes that they like, and that is going to help you make this lifestyle work. But I feel like there's kind of a point of diminishing returns. I feel like there's when you start doing a different lifestyle, this is a very different way of eating. It's very important to find some recipes, some dressings, some things that you really like. That's that's the big point right there, is that you really like them. Because if your food's not tasting good for most people, you're not going to stick with something. But there comes that point where it just becomes like the recipe chasers. Like everybody knows that person in one of the food groups is like, every time you put a photo of any piece of food, just that person down there, or those groups of people that just put recipe, that's their only comment, is recipe. And they've collected, probably, if they do that with every single recipe in the group that I see them in, they're doing this all day, every day, and they think like, what are they going to do with this infinite amount of recipes? Is it like, okay, if it's your hobby, that's okay. And, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having as many recipes as you want. The point I'm getting to here in a long, rambling way is they're not going to make, after a certain amount, they're not going to make this lifestyle work for you. I would say once you have, like think about it. When you, for most people, and I know there will be some exceptions out there, but I remember when I used to eat a standard American diet, even when I was eating a healthier version of the standard American diet, and I would cut certain things out. I never in my life have had this repertoire of like 20 different meals that I'm cycling through at most points of my life, regardless of how I was eating. I had 4 or 5 meals in my rotation, with a few, like maybe another 3 or 4 that I eat from time to time. But the average person is not eating like something different every single meal. So why would you think you need to do that when it comes to the recipes? So like I said, find recipes you like. If you're a foodie, if it happens to be something you enjoy learning and making new recipes, that's fine. I'm not saying like you have to cap it off at a certain amount of recipes, but the recipes, that's not the thing. Just because you have, like, I've seen it with so many people. It's like there's never enough recipes for them to make it work. They have 4, 5, 6 different recipe books, and they're asking people for recipes online, and they're always like, well, I had a craving for this, I had a craving for that. So don't put so much attention into the recipe part of it. Get yourself get yourself 10 recipes, get yourself 12 recipes tops, and start cycling those through. And just kind of learn, like focus a little bit on the nutrition, focus on feeding. Once again, that I like to talk about, Don't just focus on feeding those taste buds what tastes good to you, but that is important because that's going to make you stick with it. But focus on feeding your nutritional needs. So put as much time into looking into the things you need to eat to get the nutrition you need as you do into looking for recipes to be like, oh, well, I like this taste, so I need this recipe and this recipe. Details. I see people all the time splitting hairs over details, and they'll spend 2 or 3 days in a conversation and searching on something like, should I eat garlic? I don't care. I don't care. Is there a definitive, is there, there's some people, garlic is poison, you shouldn't eat it. There's some people, you have to eat it. Yeah, I like garlic. I'm going to eat garlic. Do I eat garlic every day? No. Do I care if you eat garlic every day? No. Do I have a strong opinion on garlic? No. And that's what it is about most things, is that people get so caught up on a detail, like juicing versus smoothies. Do both, do neither, whatever. Get your nutrition. It's not about like one thing. In other words, there's not like, you don't have to like worry like, okay, if I don't do this one thing that I'm not going to be healthy. Or in general, now there would be an exception, we'll get to the exceptions in a few minutes, but in general too, there's not any one thing that you're going to do that's going to just ruin you. So stop worrying about, start looking more at the big picture instead of, like I say, splitting the hairs over details. And, sometimes it just gets to a level where it doesn't really matter one way or the other. There are important things out there. There are important topics when it comes to what we should and shouldn't eat, or what we should and shouldn't put into our bodies. But some of them are just kind of like, And exceptions. I've talked about that before, and this always sticks in my head because I had this one female that I used to hang out with that would make me watch chick flicks from time to time, and I always remember this chick flick. He's just not that into you. And I remember at one point in the movie, the guy I think that the plot takes a change and they have some little lovey-dovey thing, but the point is, you are not the exception. I like to look at people all the time. Everybody thinks they're the exception. Everybody that doesn't lose weight immediately has some exception. Well, they have a reason. Well, I've got a thyroid issue, or I'm this, or because I don't process this the same way. Once again, somebody will catch on that, and somebody will be very emotional and tell me, well, I do have this, that, and the other. Well, I'm not saying that, like, the word exceptions. Go check Webster's dictionary or Google it and see what the definition of an exception is. It doesn't mean it's an impossibility. It just means it's not the norm. It means it's not, like, statistically a large percentage of people. It is once in a while, once in every few, once in every 10, once in every 100, whatever. But everybody seems to think they are the exception. Oh, I can't process this. I get statements all the time, and I don't have the time really or the brain to go through and like write a thesis on why you're probably not the exception. But I have people write me all the time telling me the most outlandish stuff, like, well, I can't do this because of this, and I do this, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times, if you know the people, or if you kind of like peep their pages and peep what they're doing or know what they're doing, you can figure it out. You can figure out what they're doing wrong, but they had rather have that kind of excuse to fall back on, that they're an exception. Well, I can't lose weight anyway. I'm like, yeah, but I can pick out 4 or 5 things. You might be right. You might have a problem with your metabolism. You might have a problem with your thyroid. You might have hormonal issues. But it could also be that you're eating 3 or 4 times a week. It could be this that you're drinking. It could be this that you're doing. And most of the time it is those things. And it's not like this thing that's the big exception. I hear that that's what you get most of the time from losing weight. Like I say, people don't like to hear this, but statistically, there is a very, very minute percentage of people that can't lose weight, that medically have a reason that they can't lose weight. So, once again, like, that's kind of a victim mentality. Stop thinking you're the exception. If you're the exception, you can even if you are the exception on a lot of these things when it comes to eating and dietary and whatever, you can get around those things. And and holiday eating. I talk about this every year, so I'm just going to make this real brief. What is today? Today's November the 5th. We've just passed Halloween. Coming into Thanksgiving, if you're in the States, there'll be, and I know Christmas is already here. People are starting to celebrate. I'm sure some of you people have your trees up already. So, as I say every year, you can think about this now, or you can do the standard old thing that everybody does year after year. You can just write off the rest of the year and say, oh well, I'm just going to wait till January 1st, that magical January 1st that everybody waits for. And you can go to your holiday parties and gatherings and get into the season and eat all the garbage and this and that. And put on 15 pounds between now and January 1st. Or you can think about it now, you know. And you can still enjoy yourself. There's still plenty of things, plenty of tasty things you can find to feed yourself throughout the holiday season. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to suffer or go without. But, and like I say, not going to belabor the point too much on this, but just think about it ahead of time. Because if you think about it now, you're not going to be so sad come January 1st. But anyhow, just my 2 cents worth on the subjects. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you here on Monday. Peace.